A common question in discussions about race inequality is, why don't white people have race based organizations like other groups? Let's review some key questions to consider if you believe white folks should be able to organize around the white identity. Are white people a minority within the institution or industry where organization would occur? Are white cultural practices and holidays recognized and celebrated? Do white people face difficulties establishing professional networks due to their racial identity? Would such an organization help address underrepresentation and retention issues? Are white voices systemically excluded from decision making processes? Do white people face discrimination in accessing resources like business loans, real estate, or employment opportunities? It's important to note that most identity based organizations, such as Black student unions or Hispanic chambers of commerce, are not exclusive. They welcome anyone who supports their mission of advancing equity and addressing specific challenges faced by that community. But the key difference lies in understanding the historical and systemic context. Throughout American history, whiteness has been centered and prioritized. Identity based organizations typically form out of necessity when groups face barriers to full participation in society. They serve to address specific challenges faced by marginalized communities, provide support networks where they might otherwise not exist, create opportunities for advancement where systemic barriers exist, and amplify voices of communities whose perspectives have been historically excluded. In contrast, white Americans have not faced systemic exclusion or barriers based on their racial identity. Most institutions already accommodate and center white cultural norms and perspectives. It's worth noting that white Americans can freely organize based on their ethnic heritage. Scottish Rite Centers, German Heritage Centers, Italian American cultural societies, and Polish community organizations exist throughout the United States, and that's just to name a few. These groups celebrate specific cultural traditions and have operated without controversy, scrutiny, or threats to their existence. I do believe that white people should be able to celebrate their identity, but it's not up to people who aren't white to allow this. Rather, it's important for white folks to recognize that they have always had the freedom to gather and celebrate their identities in ways that don't revolve around superiority or exclusion. The question becomes not whether they can, but whether the intent is to celebrate heritage or reinforce systems of privilege.